What, are you here to talk to me, police? Yeah, are you coming over here? Police! Yeah, I saw you pass by several times. You're the same vehicle I've seen. Yeah, I've seen you 3 times. The same number. Oh, I like...
The Salvation Army, that's where the call came out at first.
Yeah, I don't know how they got that information. I wanted to get your badge and name.
Yeah, Horton.
Horton and your badge number?
5924.
Okay, so the questionable thing, I didn't give them Salvation Army address.
Okay, that's where
Right, how did they get that information and I didn't give it to them?
I don't know.
That's a red flag that something's amiss because I deliberately fled that address. Let me tell you what's going on. Okay, so I have been scared to fix myself and put on makeup, fix up myself and put on makeup. Okay. I like to have on makeup and I like to fix myself up. Each time I do, I experience punishments and putouts.
What does that mean?
For example, like at Denton County Friends of the Family, I got put out when I started to fix myself up, and then I got robbed of all my new items. And then
Where was that? I'm sorry.
Denton County Friends of the Family. Denton.
Denton. Okay, I'm sorry.
Denton.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I started putting on makeup and fixing myself up and got clothes that were me, and that's been hard.
Yeah.
But I finally got clothes that were me, so Denton County Friends of the Family lied on me and put me out and deprived me of all multiple services that they offer to other people there.
Okay.
This has been a pattern that has followed me. So I was afraid to fix myself up, but at PNS I went ahead and I fixed myself up.
I'm sorry, what is PNS?
PNS Night Shelter. I'm sorry, it's in Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so at PNS in Fort Worth, I went ahead and started fixing myself up, and you pay rent there when you're a resident there. Okay. So they scammed and put me out for missing one appointment, and I missed the appointment because I was stressed out because the car sped up like it was going to hit my friend. The police covered for it and wouldn't investigate it. Okay. And nobody would investigate it, and that happened to me and my children. Okay. And no one would investigate it. So it stressed me out, and I had the appointment time. I thought the appointment time was at 1, but it was at 10. And they put me out of as being a resident. They didn't follow protocol. You have to miss 3 appointments. Yeah. So they were scamming to put me out because I started fixing myself up. Okay. Austin Street, when I wasn't recording my experiences, actually put me out for putting on makeup several times. Oh, okay. And came in the bathroom and put me out the bathroom while I witnessed other women getting ready. Okay. So I had to record my experiences because I don't believe they're realistic. For shelter staff to come in and interrupt someone putting on makeup. I was forced to live in my car. So I would go to bathrooms and stores and different places to clean myself up and put on makeup. Okay. They would come in those locations. Okay. So I drove all the way to Rockwall. Okay. And then men came in Rockwall and demanded that I get out of the bathroom. Okay. And then I said, just give me a minute. And they said, no, get out now and watch me.
What do you think is going on?
Well, that's why I'm reporting it to the police. Yeah. Because I reported it to a supervisor and tried to go over those parties' head because it kept repeatedly happening. When I was in Tyler, at Salvation Army, they came in when I was getting ready there. And he said he needed me to immediately get out to work on the bathroom. And I said, what are you working on? Because it kept happening. And he was putting in a toilet tissue dispenser. Okay, but what's going on tonight is you see I have on makeup now. And I've been wearing it for the last 3 days. And the shelter's trying to set me up and put me out. So I've experienced harassment at this location as well as all the shelters I stay at. All grievances at all shelters aren't being answered. Okay, so my experience at the shelter, there's women that deliberately block my path. What I think is going on...
Did you say block your path?
Right, let me tell you what's going on. So they block my ability to get by, make it impossible for me to get by. So then I have to speak and say I can't get by, and then they start an argument and blame me. But it's on their camera footage. So then the lady got in the shower with me, but prior to that, she yelled the B word when I came in the bathroom immediately, and then it scared me. I didn't know her. Okay, never met her before. So while I was using the bathroom, she just kept yelling the B word from nowhere, and I had no clue who she was. We didn't have any interaction. Okay. So she kept scaring me repeatedly when I was using the bathroom. So then got in the shower with me, and 3 staff had to hold her back, and it was all on camera footage. They won't investigate it. So I had
cameras in the showers?
Shelter.
Oh, shelter. Okay, I thought you said shower.
Well, there's harassment at the shelter that could be witnessed if anyone were to do law enforcement. That's a pattern that follows me in multiple different environments. Yeah. Okay, so nonetheless, I reported harassment today. The lady blocked my path today, started an argument, and I tried to get something done with the repeated harassment, and then Patricia from the shelter said that she was going to report me for trying to report the harassment.
Are you still free to go back to the shelter tonight?
I don't. Did you scam something with them? Because I'm reporting that shelter scheming to put me out when my abuser's mad.
She said that no. The person I talked to at the shelter said everything was fine. You could go there anytime you wanted tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Tonight? Is that the only night?
Well, I don't know how the shelter rules work. I'm not familiar with the shelter rules, but she said that you're more than fine to stay there tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Well, I've been staying there.
They thought you actually when I went there. They thought you were there at that time. They didn't realize you weren't even there. So.
But I'm not being heard. I have to keep taking this. No one's going to investigate the harassment I experienced and how my abuser's allowed to put me out.
You're not put out. They said
He has. I've already told you that I've been put out dozens of times.
Didn't count it. Yeah,
It's all over the place, and it's there's harassment and people getting in the showers with me.
The Salvation Army.
Everyone wants to know. Okay, so the scammers they can. So what they do is they have a scammer stand. They let the scammers take the file to say the scammers are calling in and getting me put out, so people don't rack up felonies. So they want to repeatedly over and over address while I'm recording where I'm staying, so they can scan that these scammers put me out.
You're totally fine to go there.
But I'm doing a police report now that crimes are being committed to keep me from shelter year after year and services.
I'm telling you that you're
but we're deflecting. Okay, I can go back there for tonight, but I don't know what it's going to be if my abuser is repeatedly allowed to control my environment.
I don't know how long you're allowed to stay there. I don't know the rules for that. But there's nothing preventing you from going there right now.
But I want to report that my abuser is allowed to control my environments and malice and have shelters put me out.
It's being reported.
Okay, where's the report number?
Can you write it down for you?
Yes, but I've had several different reports that they haven't investigated, leaving me in jeopardy year after year, like 200 plus, all over the place, including Austin. It's pointless to do all these multiple different reports and no one is investigating them. So back to the fact that I've done 200 reports all over the place plus, and they haven't been investigated, including Austin. And the grievances at the shelter haven't been investigated either. So why won't they investigate crimes why won't the United States how do I report crimes? It's a felony to tamper with evidence and deny a citizen of law enforcement and corruption. What kind of accountability is that? They gave me a report number last time and I couldn't read it. 24281494. Oh, he's talking to someone that's not there. So how do I get law enforcement? Because you guys haven't investigated any of my reports, or a detective hasn't called me back.
All we can do is just document that it happens, and then a detective will investigate it.
They haven't for 200 plus reports.
I can't help what happens in Denton County.
It happened in Austin. There's been like 8 in Denton.
I'm not in charge of investigating.
Threats, cars coming at me that's recorded multiple different times a day.
Okay.
Isn't that serious?
It is serious.
Okay, if I have threats and cars coming at me in all different directions and reporting stalking and crimes to keep me away from my child, why am I being deprived of an investigator for serious events like that?
I don't know.
Well, we need to do something, because if cars are coming at me every day, what if they make a mistake? Why would you guys choose to not investigate it if I have it recorded?
You can't lump us all together.
It's Austin. I made 10 in Austin.
Right,
right, but I've already made 8 other reports, threats, multiple different threats in one day. Cars coming at me from multiple different directions, which are recorded. A bus driver drove into a car. The car had to stop to keep from hitting the bus, and it's been a pattern that's followed me.
You want to go back to the Salvation Army tonight?
If I'm not allowed to do a police report or I'm not, because if it's dangerous if a bus driver is driving into a car and then forcing the car to stop, and then I can't get law enforcement to combat something like that.
I've already given you a case number. You're making it.
But it hasn't been investigated. The other 200 reports.
What's happening right now? You called the police. I came. I gave you.
Well, how do I get investigation? Because they haven't called for the other 8 reports that I made in Austin.
That's up to them.
Why would they not investigate multiple cars coming at me each day, every day?
I don't know how backed up this unit is. I don't know.
Well, can we find out?
No,
maybe they assign.
No one's there.
Oh, what, should I go in tomorrow to see who my investigator is?
During the day, yes, ma'am.
Okay, how long does it take before you get an investigator if cars are coming at you and you have threats?
I have no
You're
idea.
a police and you don't know?
I'm not that investigator. Okay, I'm not assigned to your case.
Because it's been like 7 years that I haven't had one.
I don't know.
You think the feds do?
I don't know.
Okay, well, thank you for not bullying me. Maybe that's different.
No one deserves to be bullied.
No, and I don't deserve to be put out at the shelters, multiple different shelters, for putting on makeup and talking to men.
Like I said, you're free to go back there tonight. They said there's no problems there.
Tonight.
You're good to go.
Tonight.
Okay?
You didn't say you were free to go back to stay at the shelter. You said you're free to go back there tonight.
I don't know the long term.
I don't know. I don't know who told you to go to the shelter to begin with.
That was in the 911.
Why? That's something amiss. Maybe someone was controlling 911 and wanted you at the shelter to set me up and put me out for putting on makeup like he's done years.
Well, you're free to go back there tonight.
Tonight.
All right.
That's how they talk. It's deliberate. Mind games. So they've been caught multiple different times and showing that it's a conspiracy, and then they try to deflect and talk about something else. He don't know how he got that address. What they typically do when I'm at those locations, they scam and have that location. Tell the location. You want to give her a criminal trespass? Yeah. Or tell her about the criminal trespass she wanted. That's what the police department's saying. Since they're setting up the crimes, they can't investigate each other. The police department's enlisting shelter staff to terrorize me. Shelter staff is enlisting people staying at the shelter to do it. So they're all in cahoots together and covering for each other. That's what really is going on. And there's one mastermind controlling all these parties like puppets.